All right, thanks, guys. It is so great to see you here today on this Wednesday, hump day. Weekend's almost here. And we got a great slate of some NBA games. I'm real happy to present these games here to you. Excited to dive into them. So let's go ahead and do just that. And we're going to start off with the Nuggets at the Magic, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Orlando. The Nuggets open the betting as the 5.5-point favorite, and the total at 208.5. And since those markets opened this one up, we're actually seeing a slight fade of the Nuggets in the early going here. We're also seeing movement downward on the total as well. Right now, Denver's -5 with the total moving downward to 207.5. So once again, the Nuggets open 5.5 down to 5. Total open 208.5 down to 207 and a hook. 63% of the consensus is leaning toward Denver. 66% of the consensus is shaded toward the over. And at the moment, Orlando is plus 170 for some money line cash. Now, Orlando's been pretty good against the number this season. They're 15-9 ATS overall for the year. They're also covering 67% of their games, taking on winning ball clubs. Denver, on the other side, they failed to cover in 3 out of their last 5 as the official road favorite. Their offense is shooting just 44% from the field in their games on the road as well. Now, scoring-wise, Denver is 9-2 to the under in their games on the road. Meanwhile, on the Orlando side, they're 67% to the under in their games on their home court. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean toward the home dog in this one. Got to do it. Orlando's very good covering. So let's get the job done. Orlando +5, under 207.5 in that one. And with that said, I just want to quickly take a timeout and welcome you to the show. I got some lines and personal leans out for Wednesday's NBA action. But before we go ahead and jump into any more of that, I just want to quickly remind you to check me out at patreon.com/BrockPage with a documented win percentage of 60% for the entire year of 2017. You're certainly costing yourself some valuable information each and every day you're not subscribed. Now, memberships begin at just $1.99 per month. There's also plenty of free content there as well. So once again, please feel free to just hit that pause button right now, open up your browser. All you got to do is type in patreon.com/BrockPage. It'll only take you a couple seconds. The link is in the description section below. And if you are a current patron of mine and you're currently watching me right now, I simply cannot thank you enough. You most certainly make it all worth it. And with all that said and done, let's go ahead and hop right back into some more lines and free leans. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got Warriors, Cavaliers, 7 o'clock tip-off in Cleveland. The Warriors open the betting as the 11-point favorite, and the total at 222.5. Since those markets opened this one up, not a whole lot of movement in this one. We saw slight movement downward on the total. But once again, Golden State opened up and remains as the 11-point favorite. Total open 222.5 down to 222 even. 74% are leaning Golden State, 66% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, Cleveland is plus 550 for some money line cash. Now, Golden State is covering 75% of their ball games at or around the current number. Cleveland, on the other side, where they're just shooting 44% from the field right now. And when it comes to the scoring, Cleveland, they're allowing 110 points per contest. Meanwhile, Golden State, they're giving up 113 points per contest away from home. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Golden State -11, getting the job done against the number, and the over 222 in that one. Next game, Thunder, Nets, 7:30 Brooklyn. The Thunder opened the betting as the 7.5-point favorite, and the total at 217. And once again, not a whole lot of movement on this one. We've seen it go half a point up and down, but we just seen a half a point move on the spread. No movement on the total right now. OKC opened 7.5 down to -7. Total open and remains at 217 and a hook. 63% are leaning OKC, 61% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, Brooklyn is plus 250. For some money line cash. Now, OKC's been pretty good against the number this season. They are 14-8 ATS overall for the year. They're covering 80% of their games as the official road favorite. OKC's also successfully covered the number in 9 out of their last 12, taking on sub-500 teams. Now, Brooklyn, that's a sub-500 team right there. They're just 3-9 against the spread on their home really botched that one. Let's try that one again. Brock, let's get it going. Brooklyn, just 3-9 against the spread on their home court. They're also covering just 33%. Wow. They're also covering just 33% as the official home underdog. There we go. We're going to power through this read here, Brock. This Brooklyn defense is allowing 115 points per contest on their home court. Their opponents are shooting 35% from the three-point line as well, getting very lucky from beyond the arc. Now, scoring-wise, Brooklyn's 4-2 to the under in their last 6. OKC's 8-2 to the under in their last 10 away from home. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean OKC -7 and the under 217.5 in that one. All right, next game, Wizards, Hawks. 7:30 tip-off in Atlanta. The Wizards open the betting as the 5.5-point favorite, total at 234. Since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing movement downward on the total. It moved down to 232.5. So once again, Washington opened and remains the 5.5-point favorite against the spread. Total open 234, down to 232 and a hook. 59% are leaning Washington, 68% shaded toward the under. And at the moment, the Hawks are plus 200 for some money line cash. Now, if you're leaning toward Atlanta in this one, it's going to be tough sledding for you. This is no mortal lock, in the words of some old cappers. Atlanta's just 9-15 ATS overall for the year. They failed to cover in 8 out of their last 11 ball games on their home court. This Atlanta defense is giving up 120 points per contest at home. Their opponents are shooting 38% from the three-point line. Now, Washington, they've successfully covered the number in 4 out of their last 6. They're 50% against the spread when laying the points. And scoring-wise, Washington, 75% to the over in their games at the current posted total. Atlanta, 64% to the over in their games at home. So with all that said and done, I'm going to purchase the hook, slide it down, and take Washington -5 on the road and the over, 232.5 in that one. Next game, Sixers, Raptors. Did I cover that? I think so. Yeah, there we go. That's on the other page. We're flipping back and forth here. Sixers, Raptors, 8 o'clock Toronto. The Raptors are -6, total 229. 51% are leaning Philadelphia, 56% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Sixers are plus 205 for some money line cash. Now, the Sixers have been horrible against the number away from home. They failed to cover in 8 out of their last 11 on the road. They're also 0-4 against the spread in their games at the current point spread. Now, Toronto, 20-5 straight up overall for the year. They're putting up 118 points per contest on their home court. And scoring-wise, Toronto, 10-3 to the over in their games at home. Philly, 7-4 to the over in their games on the road. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Toronto -6 and the over 229 in that one. Next game, Clippers, Grizz. 8 o'clock tip-off in Memphis. This one opened up as a pick-em contest in Memphis with a total at 212. And since those markets opened this one up, Memphis was taking a little bit of money in the early going here. We also saw slight movement upward on the total. Memphis is now -2 with the total moving upward to 212 and a hook. So once again, Memphis opened as a pick, now -2. Total open 212 up to 212 and a half. 52% are leaning LAC, 69% leaning toward the over, and at the moment the Clippers are plus $1.10 for some money line cash. Now this Clipper defense is allowing 116 points per contest on the road. They're also just 3-4 against the spread as the official road underdog. The Clippers are covering 33% of their games at the current point spread as well. Now on the Memphis side of things, they're 7-3 against the spread at home. They're covering 70% of their games laying the points. They're also covering 86% of their ball games as the official home favorite. Memphis is also 71% to the over at home, taking on teams allowing more than 102 a game. Clippers 3-0 to the over in their last trio of games themselves. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Memphis -2 and the over 212.5 in that one. Next game, Pistons, Bucks. 8 o'clock in Milwaukee. Milwaukee opened 7.5 up to 8. Total open 227 up to 229. 52% on Detroit, 53% on the under. Detroit is plus 285 for some money line cash. The Pistons are 6-2 against the spread on the road. They're covering 70% of their games when catching the points. This Detroit offense is scoring 112 points per game away from home. They're also covering 80% of their ball games as the official road underdog. Milwaukee, on the other side, They have not covered the number in their last 5 straight, 0-5 ATS in their last 5 games. They're also just 8-10 against the spread when laying the points. This Milwaukee defense is allowing 111 points per contest. Their opponents are shooting 36% from the three-point line. Now, Milwaukee's 15-7 to the over for the year, 9-4 to the over in their games at home. Meanwhile, on the Detroit side of things, they're 5-3 to the over in their games away from home. So with all that said and done, I'm going to take an underdog in this one. Give me Detroit +8 and the over, 229 in that one. Next game, Hornets, T-Wolves. 8 o'clock tip-off in Minnesota. The T-Wolves are -5, total open 221 up to 221 and a hook. 62% are on Minnesota, 54% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Hornets are +170 for some money line cash. Now, Charlotte's been pretty good against the number this season. They're 14-9 against the spread overall. They've also successfully covered the number in 8 out of their last 9 when catching the points. Charlotte's also 5-1 ATS as the official road underdog, and they're a perfect 6-0 against the spread at the current number. Now, this Minnesota defense, they're allowing 110 points per contest. They're also just 2-7 straight up in their last 9, taking on Charlotte if you're into historical trends. And scoring-wise, Minnesota's 16-8 to the under overall. Charlotte 6-4 to the under in their games when traveling. So with all that said and done, I'm going to take another underdog in this one. Give me Charlotte +5 in the under, 221.5 in that one. Next game, Mavs, Pels, 8 o'clock, New Orleans. The Pelicans open 5.5 up to 6.5. Total open 230.5 down to 227 and a hook. 57% are leaning New Orleans. The Dallas Mavericks are +$2 for some money line cash. Now, Dallas is one of the better covering teams in the league, in the association. They're 15-7 against the spread overall, 69% against the spread when catching the points. His Dallas defense is giving up just 108 points per contest. Their opponents are shooting just 46% from the field. Now, on the New Orleans side, completely different story on the defensive side of the ball. They're allowing 117 points per contest. Their opponents are shooting 48% from the field. New Orleans is also 11-14 ATS overall and just 5-8 against the spread when laying the points. Now, scoring-wise, New Orleans 67% to the over in their games at home, 80% to the over at the current total. Dallas is 3-0 to the under in their last 3. New Orleans, I misspoke here. New Orleans is 67%. Let's just forget the total numbers because those are a little bit miscombobulated here. Don't worry about my New Orleans numbers are off on that. That doesn't make sense. But anyway, Dallas 3-0 to the under in their last trio of games. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Dallas +7 and the under 227.5 in that one. And then that's going to lead me to my next and final game for the show. It is going to be Spurs-Lakers. 10:30 tip-off in Los Angeles. The Lakers opened 8, now 8.5. Total open 221 up to 224.5. 56% are leaning Los Angeles. 54% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Spurs are +325 for some money line cash. Now, the Lakers are 4-2 against the spread in their last 6. 5-1 ATS in their last 6 at home. They're 10-3 to the under in their last 13 on their home court. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Los Angeles -8 after buying the half a point in the under 224.5 in this one.